This is E.Wilson, the conversator from the JTC Exchange Radio Show. We're coming to you live from Concord Church at the Ability to Sing and Speak so we can worship, workshop, and concert. You know, we were here yesterday and people was here getting their workouts in, but now we have the professionals that have just come in on the stage, and I would try to do one of his moves, but I don't want to make myself like a fool. But we have Mr. V. Michael McKay in the house, and so let me ask you now, how long have you been running around the stage like you do what you do? And then you had the nerve to tell me that your knee was messed up. But how long?
I just made 29 back in May. If you know God, you know, you found out how I made 29 back in May, but I've been doing music for over 40 years now. So you figure that out. You go 40. I just made it really over 1971 is when I started doing church music. I mean, really doing church. It was my first church job in 71. 1971. But I just made 29 back in May. Now you know God, you figure out how that, you know, you do the math.
So V, I gotta ask you now, what starting at 1971? I mean,
1971.
I was just in the crib at that time. So let me ask, what started you into the music industry?
You know, I grew up in Louisiana. My grandfather was a Baptist minister. My mother sang, and the whole family was just, I grew up in a Christian environment. When moving to Houston, I met a gentleman named Pastor Charles Jackson at Pleasant Grove Baptist Church, and he brought me on as a youth choir director. Then I met a wonderful woman from LA named Margaret Pleasant Durow. Margaret took me and nurtured me, and she recognized the gift, and she was the greatest influence that I have, other than my grandparents and my family. But Margaret really took me under her wings. She would fly me around the country with her to interpret her music as a conductor back in the day. So I mean, and she encouraged me. She made sure I wrote the songs down. I mean, even today, when Margaret speaks, I listen. Yeah. So that was my beginning.
That was your. Now, I could tell you don't listen to this anybody, so that's a compliment to mine. Even though you was over there listening to me as we was going back and forth with the jokes.
She is so, you know, and to even to this generation, you know, I like to challenge them, because even today when Margaret begins to talk, I shut up. But I mean, she still can give me instructions. I don't care how matured I am. I don't care how grown I am. I don't care how much I accomplish. She still is one up on me, and I will forever respect her and regard her. I mean, and that's something that's real precious to me. She's someone who's real precious to me, but especially the rapport.
Okay. I can tell the way your whole demeanor changed when you talked about her.
Yeah.
Because Margaret, if you just saw him a few minutes ago, I mean, I'm sure you've seen him before. But anyway, let's talk real quick about this concert, or let's say the workshop, and talking about the vocal cords. And as I was talking to Terrence, and he was talking about, you know, equipping us so we can give God the highest praise. So we talked about there's a lot of gifted singers, there's a lot of anointed singers, but to give God the highest, making sure that, you know, our diets is right and we taking care. Let's get into that.
Terrence is he has a great call on his life in doing this, and I don't know if he at this point really understands the charge or the challenge that he has, and I think it's from God. It's got to be, because nobody else is approaching it like that. The total care of the being. You know, we talked in our session about God in lieu of his challenge, and how he created us in a trichotomy of mind, body, spirit. And what Terrence is suggesting to us is that we nurture all of that. We take care of our minds, we take care of our bodies, and we take care of our spirits. Pastor Charles Jackson back in the day said, one who negates either of the three is likened to a man who stands in the sun, a giant who stands in the sun and looks down in his shadows the size of a wimp. That would be the shadow of his soul if he doesn't take good care of his soul and feed his soul, or if it's a shadow of his body or his mind. So this was very helpful. He had a dietitian come in, a fitness person, and the gentleman who did the ear, nose, and throat today. I mean, man, that's information that we need, you know. So it's and then with the people who came to get the instructions, I mean, it was just phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And I'll be praying with him and sticking close to him to make sure that his journey is with some support.
well, you're here tonight, so it's obvious, you know. It ain't like you don't have nothing else to do. So let me ask you this, Mike, before we go. Who haven't you worked with?
A lot of people I haven't worked with. I haven't worked with Prince. No, I'm teasing. You know what? I was just telling the guy who sang tonight from Chicago how much I love Chicago, but I'll miss people in Chicago like Inez Andrews and Albertina Walker, who were, you know, dear to my heart, man. You know, we still got Dorothy Norwood left, but there's a generation of women and gentlemen. This past week we were in Houston doing a documentary. They did a documentary film on Rance Allen. So just to watch that crew of guys come along, it's a breath of fresh air. I mean, Darryl Coley and Yolanda and I are doing a project in a couple of weeks on Palm Sunday. We still do things together. So there's a camaraderie of those of us from one generation, but there's a new generation, and so we're trying to carefully pass these batons and make sure so the Byron Cages and all those guys, you know, we stand and applaud them as they do what they do, and just watching God, you know, raise up a whole new crew, man. Because I'm trying to put my plane in that hangar, you know, at this point, you know. I mean, you follow what I'm saying? Because I'm 29, and they are much younger than me. Yes, by the time I'm 30, I want to, you know, touch your neighbor, Doc. We want to land this thing, you know.
Well, we already said that you can't go to Love Field now. You're going to have to land at DFW.
And you know what? But even on that, I was teasing because I said I understand the song of old, the spiritual of old. I keep so busy praising my Jesus, I ain't got time to die. I think for some of us, we don't have time to die yet. I understand it in a different way now. You know, it's not time yet. You know, God He's not completed the work in us. So even at 29, I got to keep on kicking until He says enough.
I just want y'all to know he just got some white stuff on his beard, so it ain't just goatee.
No, that's color.
That's color?
That's color. I thought you knew. The only reason why you don't have that same color is because you shaved yours.
All right, last question. My last question. What is coming up the soonest? Because if I say what's coming up next, you're going to give me about 5 years.
No, Palm Sunday we're doing this piece called Hymns 40 and Under. We did it back in October last year. We're doing it again. It's called The Power of the Resurrection. Collaboration of about 8 ministers under 40, preachers who sing and singers who preach from Houston. Man, it's phenomenal. They use the book V. Mike's Hymns for Him. We find music in there and teach them the songs, teach a choir of ages under 40 and watch them preserve these hymns and singing, you know, with the integrity and dignity. Pastor Ralph Douglas West is putting the script together as a commentator, Doc. It's going to be cuckoo. It is all stuff. It's called The Power of the Resurrection. It's all music around the resurrection.
So how do people going to get that information?
They can go online and get it. We're doing some e-blasts. You go to vmichaelmckay.net. It'll be on vmichaelmckay.net. And, you know, just look online, and there's going to be some e-blasts and stuff about it. But it's going to be crazy. In Houston at 6 o'clock on Palm Sunday.
And so you're going to be singing, directing, or preaching?
I'll be conducting that night. No, Pastor Ralph Douglas West, Dr. Ralph Douglas West is doing a commentary. The preachers are the principal singers and the choirs, and we got a cat from New Orleans coming in by the name of Jermaine Landrum. So it's going to be great, man. Just to see all the preachers. We've been doing communion that night, and I composed a new baptism song that was written from a sermon text that Pastor Ralph Douglas West preached called The Crisis of Christ Identification. So it's a baptism piece called The Baptism. So we'll be previewing that on that night.
I guess we're going to Houston. All right. Listen, well, V. Michael, we appreciate you taking the time out between autographs. And, you know I don't have heels on, so I had to wait a few minutes longer, but it's all good. You know what I'm saying?
You know, no, for those like yourself who are jealous of my height and my youth, you know, I mean, you know, it's okay. It's okay. I used to be short like you. You know, I used to be short like
28.
you.
28.
And short like you. But now, you know, I walk tall. Walk tall.
Oh, go ahead. Listen, this is E.Wilson, the Conversator with V. Michael McKay right here at the Concord Church, Dallas, Texas. The night is over. If you want more information on the JTC Exchange, you need to go to www.jtc, the letter X, change.org. This is E.Wilson, the Conversator with my man V. Michael McKay. We're out.
Peace.